especially when you're away from home. You need somebody to check on you. You need somebody to care. You need somebody to snatch you up in the collar when you party too hard and late for class, so you are not coming. That's because it'll happen at an HBCU. There are lots of distractions. That's another con. Lots of distractions for a good time. It's important that you have balance. You go, you get your work, then you go to the parties and the daiquiri shop, and hang out with your friends. But it is, it's an incredible experience. Every time I step on the campus of Southern University, I get emotional. I get emotional actually just thinking about it because I have it has impacted my life so much, and I'm proud to say that I am a clinical nurse executive because of Southern University. I'm done. Any questions?
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Miss Lene Jackson, please share your opinion of going to an HBCU.
Well, I just want to make it brief. Actually, I know, in the interest of time, but Sora Jean and Sora Phyllis both touched on how supportive the community is at Black colleges, and we can't stress that enough. It's that support system that is actually going to get you through. But I do want to make you, coming from California, most of the historically Black colleges are on the East Coast. So they're very far from where we currently reside. And once we get there, it can be a bit overwhelming. So I know at my institution that I went to at Howard, what they established were these campus pals. So all of the freshmen had to go to school 2 weeks early. You didn't have to attend classes, but it was an opportunity for you to actually get to know the area, get to know the campus, because they paired you with a upperclassman, and that upperclassman was responsible for you for the first 2 weeks. And it was an opportunity for all the freshmen to bond. So we would go to what's analogous to Magic Mountain. We would do all these fun activities during the first 2 weeks, and it would help you get oriented to the campus so you didn't feel so alone. Because I didn't know anybody in Washington, D.C. I didn't have any family there. And when I got there, surprisingly, I did know one of the students. He and I had gone to elementary school together. So that was pretty cool. But so I do want to let you guys know it can be a little scary being that far from home, but they have given it a lot of thought, and they've put things in place to help you get over the uncertainty of being so far from your family. And honestly, I have to be honest with you guys, some people don't make it through that first year. It's just too much for them, but in addition to the 2 weeks that you go prior to school starting, we had affinity groups. We had the California Club, we had the Georgia Club, so that was an opportunity to bond with people from where you were originally from. And then, of course, there were all the other extracurricular activities at school that you could join, and that way you could bond with people that are of like mind as well as you. I actually did go to two. I went to a historically Black college for 3 years, and then I went to a predominantly white university for 1. And so let me tell you, there is a culture shock at both. At Howard, for me, and I did not come from a family of means. So when I went to Howard, I was like, oh my God, these people have some serious money. Their family, there was wealth within their family, and they could do and buy things and wear clothes that, I could not at that time. I had to get a job to afford to do that kind of stuff. And then when I went to San Francisco State, I was in culture shock because of what Jean had said. They could care less if I attended class, if I could miss a whole week and nobody would care, right? So there's not the support system. And San Francisco State actually was a commuter school. So a lot of people did not live on campus, whereas when I went to the historically Black university, I was on campus. I was amongst the students. So, there was culture shock both ways. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you, but they do have systems in place to kind of help you get over the homesickness that you might feel. That's it, Sora.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate your input as well, Lene. And I guess I should throw my little 10 cents in as well. I attended Spelman College, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, also a long ways from home. And because of that, I was not able to come home for every holiday or spring break or for as long, for anything until it was summertime. So one of the joys I got out of my college was meeting people who lived in other cities across the United States. My freshman year roommate was from Washington, D.C., and we became friends to this day. We are friends. I used to go to the parties, to the DC Metroplex Club parties with her and learned about go-go music and have become friends with quite a few people who are from that DC area, as well as some other cities across the United States, New York, New Jersey. And I promise you, 32 years later, I am still good friends with these people to this day. We look forward to seeing each other at homecoming, or if ever I'm out of town visiting relatives in another city, I always make sure I look for some friends that I went to college with that I can hook up with, and that camaraderie stays there. It exists forever. It's just something that you're not going to get anywhere else, because you develop a very close bond when you're at an HBCU with all of your classmates. Okay, so I appreciate everyone taking the time to provide input about HBCUs. I hope that those of you who are listening, that you learned a little bit, that got you a little bit excited or a little bit more interested in HBCUs. And if you want to hear more, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, because we'd be happy to help you out with anything you need to know as it pertains to HBCUs. At this time, we are going to transition to another presentation, and that is from Ms. Tanisha. She is going to talk to you about the importance of doing extracurricular activities as it pertains to doing your college applications. Ms. Tanisha, please take it away.
You got it. Brittany, are you going to share your screen? So the title of my presentation is It's Okay to Be Extra. That's because we all have that one friend who is a little bit extra, and in my circle of friends, that's me. And that's okay. Especially when you're preparing to college, because we're trying to send you to your HBCU of choice, which means that we want you to be extra. We want you to engage in extracurricular activities. And so we're going to dive into that to share and talk about why that's important. But first, I am trying to find my presentation on our Zoom. Let's see. Are you sharing the screen? Are you sharing the presentation? All right, there we go. Yay, thank you. The basics. So here we go. We've already covered that it's okay to be extra. I was hoping that we could have some type of interaction. I'll just follow your lead, students. So if anyone out there would like to give me your best definition of an extracurricular activity, just go ahead and unmute and jump right in. And if you don't want to, if you'd prefer to remain silent because you're nervous about being on YouTube, then that's fine too. But if you'd like to participate and make this a dialogue, let her rip. I'll give you a few seconds.
Sports and ASB.
Hey there, thank you. Those are excellent examples of extracurricular activities, sports and your student body government. And there are a wealth of other options as well that we'll take a deep dive into right now. Can we move forward to the next screen? All right. Extracurricular, or that extra academic activity, those are activities in addition to your regular curriculum. So we've already received an example from one of our students at Wooten Center. Thank you. Sports. Sports isn't something that, unless it's PE, then it's not something that you're going to have in your regular school schedule, your regular period. It's something you're going to be doing after school. Because of that, you're gonna, like I said, it's gonna be done after school. It may be done on the weekends. So you may need to plan your time accordingly in order to accommodate those activities. Hopefully something that you enjoy anyway. Moving on to the next slide, some examples of those activities. We've already mentioned student government. There's the debate team, math team, drama club, choir. We've already talked about sports, cheer, dance, orchestra. Those are all things that you might be able to sign up for at school on your campus. And so you might be able to do that after school. Maybe there's some away events that can also be fun in high school. Who doesn't want a chance to get away from home for a couple of hours, or even a weekend away trip? But you can take those extracurricular activities even farther. Outside of school, there could be a travel club. So for example, my daughter does, she's only in middle school, but she has volleyball that she does at school. And this semester we tried out for a volleyball club. And that kind of gave us exposure to other teams. So it just kind of broadens that experience and exposure, and probably challenges you, probably takes you up in the next level of skill. And time management, we'll get into that too. You can also engage in peer tutoring or mentoring. These are things that you can offer. Let's say you're really good in your advanced English class or your regular English class. You can volunteer your services as a tutor for English for someone else in your class who may be struggling, or even for younger kids. And we'll get into why that's important in a little bit. What type of skill that displays and demonstrates for colleges that are looking at your application. You can also participate in other community service organizations like Girl Scouts, Habitat for Humanity, and you know what? Maybe you're a performer. Maybe you want to do something with plays, in the community plays. All of that counts, because again, it's all in addition to your regular school schedule. Moving on. So here are the basics, just so we're clear. Extracurricular activities are what? Extra. Here's what they are not. They are not regular school classes. They're not an after-school job. But if that's all you can do, that's fine too, because that also demonstrates your ability to manage time. And that's good for universities to see, good time management. We'll get into that in a bit. Extracurricular activities are not babysitting for your cousin. They're not going to church, although again, that's good, but that's not considered an extracurricular activity. Your SAT prep classes, very important, but not an extracurricular activity. Hanging out with grandma and grandpa at the house, that's super cool. They want you there. Your parents probably want you to go for a visit too, but again, not an extracurricular activity. So what can we do with these activities, especially if it's something that we're already passionate about? What can we do to kind of capitalize on that? Let's move to the next slide and find out. These activities are important because they give you a competitive edge. They're going to demonstrate your leadership, your commitment, your passion, and your responsibility, because it takes all of those things in order for you to do that, manage that time, and succeed in school. And that's exactly what colleges and universities want to see in their potential candidates. Doing these extracurricular activities and maintaining a solid GPA proves that you can succeed in college. And it says to admission counselors, pick me. I'm going to be the one that's going to nail it for you. So you want me in that seat. It forces you to use self-discipline and time management to get the job done. So we mentioned that before. So again, all of these things kind of come together to present you as the whole package. So what about those students or even your friends who say, but I don't have time for anything extra? I mean, I'm already busy with my regular schoolwork, with my chores, with my after school job, and my TikTok, and my Instagram, and my whatever series you're watching on Netflix. You can't afford not to do extracurricular activities. They don't have to consume all of your time, but you can afford to take 1 or 2 hours away from your favorite things to do and invest it in something that you're passionate about, but haven't really given that time and attention to. So who has extracurricular activities? Again, let's make this a dialogue and interactive. Who out there currently has an activity they are engaged in? Tell us what it is, and Tell us why you're doing it. Why does it matter? Don't be shy.
I play tennis because I've played it all my life and it's something that I'm really good at.
Excellent. So it's something that you're passionate about. And you've naturally been doing it your whole life. So that's just going to work in your favor again when you're applying to school. Using that as an example, again, like it's something that you've just done. You like it. You're probably really good at it if you've been doing it this whole time. That's going to show potential universities and colleges your passion, your leadership, your commitment, and your time management, like we said before. And if you were to expand on that and maybe do some other volunteer work, say at a food pantry or something like that, that can demonstrate how you know how to make an impact on your community. So moving on. So this was something fun that we did during our last workshop here. I don't know that we'll be able to do this on this call. If we can, that would be great. So I'm hearing one student sharing, and I love your interaction. Thank you. Otherwise, I'd be talking to myself. So I appreciate that. Is there anyone else on the line that wants to share what their interests are? Anyone on the line who doesn't have an extracurricular activity at this time and may need help figuring that out? Again, don't be shy. Just let's talk to me. Who's the student that's chiming in? First name only.
Natalia.
Natalia. All right. I know there's some other, Natalia's friends are on the line. I know you're there. Go ahead and unclick your mute button and share with us if there's something else that you might be doing, or if you're struggling and can't quite nail what it is that you'd like to do. This is our chance to dialogue. And again, if you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. I'll just give you a few seconds to respond and share with the group. All right, Natalia, looks like it's just you and me. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Other extracurricular ideas. I think that we kind of touched on this earlier in the presentation, but if you're a student who doesn't really want to talk right now, and that's fine, but let's say that you're a student on the line and you're not really sure where your interests lie, maybe create a chart like this, where you can list out your academic interests, your community service, your sports interests, and anything in the arts and cultural areas. So just take a look at this list and just see if anything out there that sparks an interest with you. Because I promise you, if you're like Natalia and you find something that you enjoy doing, it becomes less of a chore. And I just want to share something that my sorority sister Jean Jiggers just shared, and that's that, again, that long-term commitment to an activity proves to colleges and universities that you are not a quitter. They don't want to take the time to review your application, onboard you on that college campus setting, gather funds for you, and hopefully, you know, help fund your education, only for you to turn around and quit. This is a way that kind of sharpens that consistency and that persistency for you, gives you the skills that you need to not be a quitter, and shows that university that their investment in you is the right choice. Thank you, Jean. All right, moving on to the next slide.
Tanisha, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
This is Kira, and I'm actually watching on YouTube as well.
Yes.
And we have one of the students who's on YouTube watching, and Tag is Adore. And one of the things that she was talking about back and forth with me is she's been dancing her whole life. So that's one of the things that she's been doing, you know, with her time.
Absolutely, that's wonderful. I don't know what you want to do, you know, I don't know what you want your major to be, but let's just say, since dancing is your passion, and you've been doing it your whole life, but let's say your goal is to attend a performance arts school. That's one of those things that they're absolutely going to look at. And again, like you being able to manage that activity and a solid GPA just, again, presents the whole package. So congratulations to you. You are on the right track with that. So next we want to talk about how important it is to brag. It's okay to toot your own horn, even the shy among us. Toot your own horn when it's time to share with universities why you're the whole package, what you've been doing. Think about everything. Go all the way back if you need to. You'll have college counselors and members of organizations like Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated who would love to help review those applications with you, to help you, make sure it's solid. But you can go back and present as evidence your activity, your commitment, your stick-to-itiveness. So this is your chance to do it. They want to know all about your extracurricular activities and your volunteer hours and community service. I would say that's also something that you might want to add to your activities, is make sure you can speak on. It doesn't have to be something that, a semester's long. Maybe it's just something that you do on a Saturday, 1 month out of, I don't know, maybe it's once a month, but find some place to do community service as well, because that's also an extracurricular activity. So when you're composing that college essay, you want to make sure that you are bragging, not eloquently stating what you have done, what you learned from it, and how it's made you a stronger student. So you want to share what you learned while participating in those activities, how those activities help you grow and mature. And most importantly, let those activities in your essay kind of reveal to the reader who you are, that you are a leader, that you are committed, and that you can make an impact on the community. Because when you leave and you're done with that degree in 4 years, 5, depending on however long it takes you, you want to be able to say like, hey, this is how I can help move your university forward even. So that's what's going to help you stand apart from other applicants. Let's go to the next slide. So this is our final slide. In closing, now you can have dialogue with me if you want, or you can just think about this silently. You are the president or the admissions team of your own university. Look at student A and look at student B, and you decide which student you'd want at your institution. So these students have great SAT scores. They both have stellar GPAs. They're both members of the art club. Okay, same. But here's where the difference lies. And this is where you differentiate yourself in your college essay. Student B wasn't just a member of the art club that showed up to meetings, which is good, that's all good. Volunteered once a month, that's good, it's better than nothing. At least that student did that. Because you know what, student A might have done more than student C. So that's good too. But if you want to push yourself, and if you have the capacity to push yourself, the time and all of those things, depending on your workload, your academic workload, you may be in AP classes and maybe it's, a little too much to do what student B did. But again, this is your college, your university. Who are you going to pick? Student B was not only a member of the art club, they also helped grow the club. I don't know, maybe they held a membership drive. Maybe they came up with some really innovative ideas, and that's something they'd want to expand upon in their essay that again sets them apart. Maybe they also ran charity projects through the club and raised over $5,000 for community art programs. So this is just an example of how, it's my husband sneezing. This is just an example of how you can set yourself apart. And I want to share some input that I'm getting from Jean. Extracurricular activities to a college are what experience is to a hiring manager. That's a very good point. You can think about maybe you have a job already. Maybe you have to fill out an application. Maybe you have to submit a resume. If you haven't yet, you will have to, you will need to. And when you do that, you're kind of demonstrating again why you're the best candidate. It's the same thing with universities and these activities. So again, extracurricular activities to a college are what can demonstrate leadership, dedication, having a sense of balance, and your willingness to grow as a person and go beyond your comfort zone. Thank you, Jean. So that in a nutshell is why extracurricular activities are so important and why you have to take the time to do it. Even if it seems like a drag, even if you feel that you don't have the time to do it. I bet you really do. If you, again, you could probably find 1 to 2 hours per week and dedicate that to something that you're already passionate about. Don't do something you don't care about. Do something that you love. And I would also go so far as to say that that holds true for your major and your profession. Do something that you love. So I think that might be the last slide. Is there another slide? The end. In closing, I want to share with you something that my Aunt Tessie shared with my brothers and me growing up. And that is that you can be who you want to be, you can have what you want to have, and you can do what you want to do. All you have to do is focus on those goals and make it happen. You can do it. No matter the hardships that are out there, and some will come. We all go through hardships, but you can do it and you can achieve it. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Ms. Tanisha. That was awesome information. I hope that the students who are listening were able to take notes or make note of all the information that you just learned, because this is very valuable and this is very important. And our goal is to help you be as successful as possible with your college application process. So this information should carry you a long ways in that direction. Okay, next up, we have Miss Brittany, who is going to talk to you about social media do's and don'ts. Miss Brittany, take it away.
Hi, everybody. How are you all doing?
Good.
This is a kind of interesting. Feels like you're talking to yourself, but you're not exactly. Let me just get my presentation up here for you all. Let's see. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Not yet. Does anyone have any questions while we're waiting? No? Okay.
Okay, how about now?
Yep, there you are. Thank you.
All right, so I'm here to talk to you all about the do's and don'ts of social media and how it can affect your college acceptance, because a lot of times you do something that you think is funny amongst yourselves or your friends and you laugh about it, but it might put you in a position where people think that your judgment is questionable, and you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward in everything that you're doing. A lot of times I always make the statement that common sense isn't so common. In your experience with social media, you've probably already learned a few lessons about what to do and what not to do online. You've seen in the news celebrities that you know about or something that they did dumb in their past came back to bite them. Politicians, something they wrote on Twitter came back to bite them. I just want to really stress that just because you think it went away and you deleted it from your feed or from the cloud, it's not really necessarily gone. You don't control that platform. And just like your Snapchats, those things seem temporary, and that's where it's dangerous, because you think, oh, it disappears after 10 seconds, but not really. It's in an archive somewhere out in the web, and that is where you get into the real danger of what you put out there coming back. I know I can't see you all right now, but if you can you chime in if you've seen a post that your friends have posted online or something that you've posted online that you know that they shouldn't have? Anyone? Okay. Yeah, see, a bunch of you have your hands up that you've seen stuff that you should not have seen online. Now, since we've all been home, I'm sure everyone's been. Now, since you all have been home and been bored, you've probably all been posting a lot more. Now, if you've been posting a lot more, has it been something that was beneficial to you for your future, or is something that you consider detrimental to your future? People are watching. Please, 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 I cannot stress this enough. Be aware that anything you do online can potentially come to the attention of the college you want to go to. The admissions officers are always perusing your feeds, stories, looking up people to see who is this person I'm going to be inviting into my university? Who is this person that I'm going to be putting the stamp of my school on? Are they going to represent us and our culture appropriately or not? Scholarship committees look at this kind of stuff. Hiring managers as well. You can potentially lose your job for something that you posted online that you thought was funny, or maybe you were angry about something. We've all seen those people who post every single thing that they do online. They ate a sandwich, they posted it online. They got a ticket, they posted about it online. They got angry and they ranted and vented about it online. Those same, what you say when you're angry online, you might just be feeling like you're expressing yourself, but really and truly that is a digital record that can be found later on and accessed later on and used against you later on. Now, I don't want you to all to get, too nervous about it. Admissions offices do look at your social media profiles and things of that nature when you're applying, but they don't look at every single person's feed. They're not gonna be going through every post you ever done with a fine tooth comb, but just know that it is something that they do take into consideration. Let's see. I also always think it's a good idea to do what I call a social media audit. So if you pull up your feed, you pull up your Instagram, say, or your Tumblr account, or whatever program you're using, and then just take a look and see, is this something that if I was the person who owned this college or had this job, would I judge you in a way that didn't suit how you wanted to be viewed? Just take a look at your feeds and just take a look and process that from their perspective. As I said before, there's no need to frantically analyze your feeds and stress out about it. No one's walking around, every single thing that you're doing here, staring at you for every little small misstep that you might take. But I just want you to be, your social media profiles are part of your public persona. And it's very important that you pay attention to how that public persona is perceived by other people, because you might interpret something that you do in a certain way, but could it be offensive to someone? Could it turn somebody off in that way? In general, you just shouldn't put too much weight on the judgment of others, as in like a troll type of situation, but at the same time, the reality is you're applying to college, which is in large part representing yourself and them. So you want to make sure you just do a good first impression. Moving on to privacy. The default privacy settings applied to your social media accounts may not always be as private as you think. So it's always a good idea to double check your settings, because they do updates. I know one on Instagram, they changed their privacy policies for certain things. So you need to just make sure that when they're doing all of these updates, that you are still blocking your feeds from the people you don't want to see it. But even still, there's still workarounds to be able to see you. So just because you think your page is private does not necessarily mean it's actually private. It might just be private to you or your mom. Also, you must be very mindful in what your friends tag you in. I know there's been numerous times where I've looked on my Instagram and Facebook, well, Facebook, I know you all probably don't have Facebook, but there's been times where I've looked at stuff that I didn't think was a flattering picture of me, or it was us maybe having a conversation that was being videotaped that I thought that was a heated discussion that ended up being videotaped and being posted online because they thought it was funny. Those kind of things that don't put you in the position of greatness. So some of the social media don'ts, which I know I touched on a little bit before, was don't post, repost, or like materials that are widely considered offensive. If you feel the need to state a controversial opinion, do so in a mature manner. Keep in mind that your stated opinions may affect how others view you. We've seen this time and time again even with our own president. There's things that was said in the past that gets brought up on a day-to-day basis, and you don't ever want it to overshadow what you're doing as a person and who you are as a person. Never use social media to harm, harass, or bully others. Just don't do it. Nobody likes a troll. You've seen that on feed, you go on YouTube, you see in the scrolls, and people are like, oh, you're ugly, you're fat. There's nothing constructive about that. You're just tearing that other person down, and it doesn't shine a healthy light against you. Please, 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 please watch your language online. Colleges know that people swear, and obviously they do it, and you're young, everyone knows that you do it, even if your mom doesn't know that you do it. But when people are looking to invite you into their university or their job or anything like that, those are all things that can shine a negative light on you as a person. Keep interpersonal conflicts off of social media, and be polite with discussions about politics and religion and that sort of thing. Just be as respectful as possible. If your boyfriend got on your nerves, don't post about that on Facebook. No one needs or on Instagram or Tumblr or TikTok or all of these social media feeds. No one needs to know that you're having that drama in your life. Airing out your dirty laundry or all your drama is not going to shine a positive light on you. It actually makes you question your judgment a little bit more, because it makes you look a little bit unstable when you are just flying off the handle, ranting and venting everything that's going on in your life. Do not post evidence of illegal or unethical behavior. Well, disclaimer, you should not be participating in anything illegal or unethical in the first place. But in the event that you are doing anything that is unethical, for instance, underage drinking, cheating on a test, or vandalism, people think it's cute to tag, don't post that. Don't post that online. Posting this type of content can also expose you to negative consequences at both your school that you currently attend, the school you want to get accepted to, and the law. You can actually get arrested for things that you've posted online. Don't reveal personal or confidential information on social media, both for your own safety and to demonstrate your integrity. Please, 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 you do not want anyone, you can get a stalker, someone can find out where you live. The public is not a safe place. It might feel that way on your own personal feeds because you're talking to you're talking to your friends, or you're tagging something that you think you like, or these are just people you don't think you'll ever have to meet, but you don't know those people. So you need to make sure that you are safe. So enough of the super serious part. Sorry, but it's very important. So a little bit about leveraging your social media when you are applying to college. So thus far, we focused on the potential negative aspects of using social media. However, social media is popular for a reason, and there are definitely benefits that you can derive from a well-managed social media presence. Among other purposes, when used appropriately, it can be a helpful tool that you can use to learn about your colleges, allow colleges to learn about you. Most of you probably have a TikTok, Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat, YouTube, etc. But I would like to know, little participation here is how many of you have actually heard of LinkedIn or have a LinkedIn account? Don't be shy.
I have heard of it, but I do not have an account.
Okay. What have you heard about it?
That's how you get a job.
Yes, that's actually a good description of it. LinkedIn is a social network that can be helpful for college applicants. While this network is usually associated with job hunting and career development for college students and adults, high school students can also use it to build an online presence that's positive, appropriate, and representative for their accomplishments while potentially helping their efforts to network with the people to help them achieve their goals and ambitions. So, it is a professional profile, unlike Instagram or TikTok, where the information on there is for fun and entertainment. You do get, you can get access to articles, news information, but you can also network with people from that institution. So say you're interested in going to Howard University or Spelman, but you don't know anyone in your direct network that goes to Howard University or Spelman. You can look up some people that might work in that industry that you're interested in, find them, and you can actually message them and get some insights on how the culture is at that school from LinkedIn. You can also start building your network because, as our other presenter, Jean, had mentioned before, your network is extremely important in helping you to succeed in the next levels of your life, not just in school, but in school, in your career, in any other facet that you want to succeed in. So you can start building that conversation and building that network and that tribe on LinkedIn. You don't have to have a ton of work experience to create a LinkedIn profile. You just have to have, it's just going to give you some practice in crafting a appropriate resume, listing your professional organizations that you're a part of, your extracurricular activities, as Tanisha presented about previously. So the fact that you're in tennis and dance class and you're the head of the arts club, all that is all accomplishments that you can list on your LinkedIn page. And that is one thing that you can also refer to in your college applications when they say, what else have you done, or where are your profiles and stuff like that. Instead of having to share your Tumblr account, you can share a professionally managed and manicured profile on LinkedIn with them. Now, let's get down to it. Snapchat, Insta Stories, and TikTok. Most of you know that Snapchat and IG Stories and TikTok are great for the moment, short-lived. I'm in the vlog, I'm here, I'm out, I'm at this party, or I'm walking down the street, this is what I just ate today, type of content, in the moment content. But the issue where you must be careful is, as I said earlier, is that you can't get overly comfortable with the idea that they don't last for a long period of time. Be mindful while sharing. It only takes a second for somebody that's viewing your story or your post to accidentally share it on accident, to send a screenshot to other people. You know, even if you're sending a picture to someone that you like, someone, it might pop up as public versus private. You thought it was private. There's so many things that you can accidentally do when something is supposed to be a temporary post, that you just need to be as careful as possible. We live in a vlog culture, which is great for in the moment and in the day to life, outfit of the day posts. But I just need you to remember, again, and I can't say this enough, the internet, nothing really ever goes away on the internet. If it's on the internet, it is on the internet somewhere. There's actually a website called the Wayback Machine that you can actually look up someone's name or their profile or their website, and you can see what was on there at a certain time, and have a screenshot readily in front of you available, where you can screenshot exactly what was said and be used, and it can be used again later on against you. So please, 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 there's all types of different backend websites similar to that, where just because you thought it went away doesn't mean it really went away. Now, a little bit about going back to leveraging social media when applying for college. How many of you have heard of Pinterest? Has anyone heard from Pinterest? Don't be shy. Okay, I'm gonna take that as a no. So Pinterest is a great social media networking platform that allows you to visually share and discover new interests that can be organized into boards, and you can do what's called pin. So you can pin your favorite things. So when you use Pinterest, you can find out, you can read blog posts, or you can use it for your YouTube videos, or you can get study tips or printables on how to, printables for planners, projects that you're interested in. You can also make vision boards of things that you want in your future. You can do, it's basically an online version of a scrapbook that you can kind of make for the things that you want in life. Now, I'm sure some of you probably have a blog or a YouTube channel. That is something that you could also utilize on your Pinterest page. So if you write a blog post or you post a YouTube video, you can share an image on your Pinterest and build that traffic for that content to help grow your Pinterest page or grow your viewership on your YouTube channel. But you can also utilize Pinterest in a way to find information about the colleges that you're interested in. So you can search your college on there, or the one that you're interested in, and see what comes up. What are people posting about it that you didn't know about? What are some interesting articles about it? What are some historical facts about it? You can find out a different level of information than you could find out if you just simply Googled it. But you can build a network, once again, building a network on Pinterest of people who are like-minded and interested in the same things. You can make friends online and discuss designing your dorm room or your dream dorm room, or just activities of how you can learn how to time manage, skills on how to balance working a job and going to college for your first year, or how to balance being away from home and having to cook your own meals when you're not accustomed to having to do that. It's just a really great resource that you can use to do pretty much anything. You could, from school, planning a wedding, planning a business, anything you want to do, you can pretty much use Pinterest to help you make a framework for that. So I have a question for you all. What is one thing that you think colleges would want to see on your feeds?
Could it be the extracurricular activities that you participate in?
Yes, that's a good one. What
You
else?
involved in your school?
You said you what?
Involved in your school, like school pictures, stuff like that, videos.
You and your friends hanging out, positive messaging, quotes. What they don't want to, you just want to make sure that your feed is something that represents you and who you are as a person. A curated example of you. So you don't want to have anything on your feed that doesn't represent who you are on your feed, or even who you want to be on your feed, because there's some people's feeds that's completely not really true to who they are. They look way better on their feed than they do in real life. But that's to say, you can curate your feed to make sure that you're in the right position to be seen as a responsible and a great person that they would want to have in their university. You just want to make sure that you have your best foot forward. You don't want to have videos of you doing what was that one challenge that I saw where they ate the dishwashing soap? That's not supposed to be on you shouldn't be doing that in the first place, but that's certainly not something you want to incorporate on your feed. You don't want to do anything that's that makes them question your judgment. Now, I am going to turn it over to question and answer. Now, does anyone have any questions regarding social media and how they can utilize it towards putting their best foot forward?
Brittany, check your chat. I do see a question on the chat.
Okay. I'm not seeing let me just pull this thing down.
Or you want me to read it?
Yeah, I don't know why I can't see it. I see that there's a chat question, but I don't see the
Okay.
would you need to adjust their settings so they can Oh, okay. Would they need to adjust their settings so they can't be tagged by irresponsible friends? Yes, that is a great point. Yes, you can do that. However, you need to readjust it momentarily as time moves forward because that is one of the settings that keeps being reset by the software. So for Instagram, Facebook, I don't think TikTok has that privacy setting anymore. They used to in the beginning, but I don't think they still do. But you need to you'll need to continuously keep checking to make sure that they can't do it because every time there's a new software update, all those kind of go away. So you need to go back and keep being on top of your settings and your privacy. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Well, thank you, so, Ms. Brittany. Everyone, I hope that you took notes or learned something because this was a lot of important knowledge that I'm sure will help you go a long ways towards your college application process. At this time, I'm going to open up the floor to anyone else who is participating from the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority who would like to provide additional input to any of the presentations that we've done so far today.
Hi, it's Jean again. I did want to piggyback off of a few things that my sorority sister Brittany just presented on social media. She gave you guys some outstanding information, and I cannot stress and emphasize enough how important it is that you are compliant. Oh, I lost you. How important it is that you are compliant with the tips that she gave because your social media presence is your digital diary. We live in a highly visual digital age, and this is a journal of your life. It is a diary that is exposed to pretty much the entire globe. And so when it comes to colleges, the universities in particular, and especially the HBCUs, feel a sense of responsibility for you. You may be one of 40,000 students if you go to a really large school. You may be one of, a few thousand students if you go to a smaller school. But the staff they do feel a sense of responsibility for you. Recognizing that your parents or your family members are turning you over to them, expecting that when you come back home, you will be better than you were before you left. And so, in that sense of responsibility, they do look at social media profiles because it's important to them not to have a student who is contentious, who does not have self-control, who is, as Brittany mentioned, going to make the school look bad and, have on some type of paraphernalia that's representative of the school and get on the news, getting arrested or, on the tables twerking and doing all kinds of things that that parents and just don't want to see, or that's not a good reflection of the school. I do want to, here's another one. There may be some, in addition to jobs, there may be some organizations that might pique your interest when you get to college, some that can bring you, some prestige and expand those professional and social networks like Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, or if you are interested in a fraternity, we look at that stuff. We do. It's really important to us because we have a brand and we spent over 100 years building and maintaining that brand to be representative of our organization so that so that our name goes before us and it's a good thing. And so we're very protective of it, and just like the other organizations, that can be something that could potentially eliminate you as a possible member, and that is a lifetime impact. So you want to be mindful of that as well. Now for the really cool things that social media, other cool things, because Brittany gave you some really good pointers, but there are a couple of other really cool things that you can use social media for with your college endeavors. And one of those is you can research roommates. So there are in at certain schools, you get assigned to a dorm, and you get the opportunity. They'll give you a pool of people to say, well, these are the people who are also going to be in this dorm. You can actually go on social media and start making some connections, and sometimes you can actually choose your roommate based on what you have seen, or actually get to chat with a potential roommate. So you can kind of interview your college roommates and actually end up rooming with somebody who you have bonded with prior to school starting. You can also research your professors, which I think is super cool. Was not something that was available many years ago, decades ago, actually, when I was in college, but my daughters actually had the opportunity to do that. And so if you are wanting to take a biology class, and you can go on social media, they have chat rooms and platforms where the professors are actually graded based on what, how well they teach, if they test on things that they don't lecture about or that you've never heard of in the class, how much reading they require, all kinds of really cool stuff. If they may have great personalities, but they grade hard as heck, and there is no curve. All of those things you can use social media for. You can also, in your college search, I've seen this over and over again, you actually can reach out to alumni, people who have attended specific schools. You can go to the social media account of, Howard University or Hampton or one of these other really cool schools. And if you're trying to narrow down your choices, you can reach out to some of the people. You can just start up a chat on an alumni page to say, why should I go to Alabama A&M instead of going to North Carolina A&T? And they will give you a lot of real-time information. You can ask, how old are the dorms? Do they have air conditioning? Which is pretty important for somebody coming from a Southern California climate. If you go to an HBCU in the South or the Southeast, where it's the weather is typically tropical. So those are some, other things that you can use social media for to help you to make some decisions that are important as you set yourself up for success in college. Does anybody have any questions?
And to piggyback on what you said real quick, the website for that is ratemyprofessor.com.
Yeah, and it's not just for HBCUs. It's for hundreds of schools, and
it saved my life. Because I was signed up for this one teacher, and they said he doesn't believe in A's.
Yeah, and
I'm like, what do you mean you don't believe in A's?
Right. It's a thing. There's you could very well sign up for a class where the professor's last name is Jones, and Professor Jones may be native to another country and have a very heavy accent, and it is hard to follow her or him. And all of that information is available. To some people, it's not a big deal, but to other people, especially if it's the class that's really challenging, if it's a calculus class and math is not your strong suit, then that may be something that is not going to be helpful to you. So those are, you definitely want to keep that in mind when you're choosing your courses. Do your homework. Does anybody have any questions? I did want to take just a few minutes, since we have a few, to let you guys know that Tau Beta Omega does provide, we award scholarships to deserving students. And the good news about our scholarships is that they're not necessarily need-based, meaning you don't have to be beneath a certain income level to qualify for our scholarships. But we do have qualifications, and I wanted to share those with you because scholarship season just opened, the application season just opened for our chapter. And let me share my screen with you just a moment. Oh, somebody else is sharing. Okay. So you can go onto our website, which is taubetaomega.com. And if you hover over scholarships and click on application, you will see all of the different scholarships that we provide. We have scholarships, different scholarships, depending on what type of student you are. So if you notice here at the top, we have scholarships for students who are going to HBCUs. Either you're as an incoming freshman or you're already at HBCU. Special money set aside just for the awardees of that scholarship. We also have scholarships for incoming freshmen and continuing students at any accredited school. So even if you go to UC Davis or San Diego State or Berkeley, you can apply for this scholarship as well. If you know of any people who are in your close circle that are in graduate school or they're in law school, we have scholarships for those people as well. Let them know we have money to give away to people who deserve it. And then we also have scholarships for people who are pursuing advanced degrees in the medical field. So this would be people who are in medical school, dental school, getting a master's level or doctorate level degree in nursing or, public health. That's something new that we just added this year. Really quickly, you can scroll down to see the requirements that are spelled out here and what it takes. You see, we do want a resume, so those extracurriculars should be listed on the resume. There's a personal statement and an essay. I wanted to call out really quickly, it is important that we get all of the materials by May 22nd. We won't look at any incomplete or late applications. The scholarship committee will not consider them. But to call your attention to this first line up here, we look at community service, academic achievement, and your essays. Community service, you guys, is a really, really big deal, not just to Tau Beta Omega, but to any organization that is willing to give you money to go to school. Because what that says is this is somebody who has developed a habit and has a commitment to giving back. So we want to make sure that we're not just investing in you, but we're going to we're also investing in the people that you're going to turn around and invest in, because you will take the education and experience that you get and you will pay it forward to the next person. by investing in them, whether it's time, whether it's service, whether it's money, whatever resources that you have. We do consider academic achievements, so that 3.0 GPA is really important. And in your essays, get somebody to proofread them. I'm giving you like a backdoor tip that a lot of people don't get. If your essay is not grammatically correct, and it has misspellings and typos and punctuations in the wrong places, it's gonna get put to the side. That's not just for Tau Beta Omega. It is for almost everybody who is willing to write you a check, whether it's $500 or $50,000. You have to take this very seriously. So if you or you know somebody who needs money for school, it takes a little bit of time, but it is worth the investment. And believe it or not, we have had people who didn't apply in some of these categories year over year, and we had to extend the application. So if you were the one person who applied for, say, the incoming freshman HBCU scholarship, and you were able to check all of the boxes, boom, you got a check, and you had to compete with no one. So don't sleep on this money. Does anyone have any questions or comments? All right.
Thank you, thank you, thank you again, Jean. This information has been super valuable. I hope that the students who are listening were able to catch all of that. And if not, I will share it with Miss Naomi and Miss Christelle so that you guys will have the opportunity to apply for scholarships with us. If anyone has any questions, please raise their hand. Someone please check YouTube for me and see if there's any questions or comments on there. Otherwise, I just want to say thank you guys so much for your time and for all of the presentations that we had today. They were excellent. It was full of awesome information, which I believe will go a long ways towards helping these students get ready for college. We are looking forward to doing this again next month. Next month's topic will be financial literacy, how to manage your money when it's time to go to college. Also another important topic that you will need to know before you go off to school. All right, Miss Naomi or Miss Christelle, do you have any closing comments before we end our presentation?
Okay. Hold on, here I am. Just want to say, hi everyone. So just want to say thank you to the AKAs. You all are awesome. And it is just a pleasure to, let me just put so they can see me here. It is a pleasure to have you all come and share with our youth and just really empower them and give them resources that they can utilize to do more for their future. And like you said, don't sleep on the money. Don't sleep on the opportunities, that are available. And so I just want to thank you all for taking your time today to come and just share with our youth and just pour into them. So thank you so much. And we appreciate it tons.
All right, everybody, stay safe and have a good weekend. Good night.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Good night. Bye,
Good night. Thank you.